Hello everyone, welcome to online CET class. Let us discuss the multiple choice questions on the chapter Alternating Current. The first question is, in a series resonant LCR circuit, the voltage across R is 100 volt and R is 1 kilo ohm. With the capacitance of a capacitor C is 2 microfarad. The resonant frequency omega is 200 radian per second. At resonance, the voltage across L is. See here, this is a resonant LCR circuit. At resonance, we know the condition XL and XC both are equal. That is, inductive reactance and capacitive reactances are equal at resonant frequency. Right? At resonant frequency, we know that current is maximum. See here, voltage is given, that is Vrms equal to, that is 100 volt, that is voltage across resistor is given, and resistance is 1 kilo ohm, that is 1000 ohm, and C is 2 microfarad. Then angular velocity omega is given 200 radian per second. So we have to calculate the voltage across L. Right? So voltage across L we have to calculate. Let us take this is voltage across the resistance R, and now this is voltage across inductor L we have to calculate. Right? So we have the relation, that is IRMS equal to Vrms divided by R. So voltage across resistor is given 100 volt divided by 1 kilo ohm, that is 1000 ohm. So we will get 0.1 ampere. This is current across resistor. Now in this problem they given at resonance. At resonant frequency, we know that XL is equal to XC. Inductive reactance is equal to capacitive reactance. Therefore, we can write XC equal to, what is the equation for XC? That is 1 by omega C. XC equal to 1 by omega C. So, omega value is given, that is 200, and capacitance is 2 into 10 raised to minus 6 farad. So, we will get XC equal to 2500 ohm. This is XC value. But at resonant frequency, XL and XC both are equal. Means we have the value of XL, that is 2500. Now we have to find Vrms, that is voltage across inductor. So we have the equation, that is Vrms equal to IRMS into impedance, because this is the opposition offered by series LCR circuit. But here we want voltage across inductor, so we can write it as IRMS into XL. So IRMS value is 0.1 and XL is equal to XC, that is 2500. So voltage across inductor is 250 volt. Right? So 250 volt, that is option C is right. Now the question is, in series combination of R, L and C, that is series LCR circuit, with an AC source at resonance, if R equal to 20 ohm, then impedance of the combination is. So here the important is at resonance. At resonance, we know that XL and XC are equal. See here, resistance value is given 20 ohm. So we have to calculate impedance. But we know that at resonance, XL equal to XC. Therefore, we can write Z equal to R, because we know the relation Z equal to R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Here XL and XC are equal, so remaining is only R square, that is we can get Z equal to R value is given, that is 20 ohm. So you can directly write the answer 20 ohm if you know at resonance XL equal to XC. So 20 ohm means option A is right. Now, the tuning circuit of a radio receiver has a resistance of 50 ohm, an inductor of 10 millihenry and a variable capacitor. A 1 megahertz radio wave produces a potential difference of 0.1 millivolt. The values of capacitor to produce resonance is, take pi square equal to 10. Here it is a tuning circuit of a radio receiver. So first observe the givens here. Resistance is given, R value and L value is given, frequency is given, right? Then potential difference is also given. See here, resistance value is, so we can write resistance is 50 ohm, inductor value is 10 millihenry, then frequency is given 1 megahertz, and voltage, potential difference is given Vrms equal to 0.1 millivolt, and we have to calculate the value of capacitor to produce resonance. We have to calculate C. So pi square equal to 10, it is given in the problem. So here we have the equation for frequency. F equal to 1 divided by 2 pi root of LC. Or we can write it as F square equal to 1 divided by, squaring on both sides, we will get 4 pi square LC. So we want capacitor value. So C equal to, we will get 1 divided by 4 pi square L F square. Now substitute the values. C equal to 1 divided by 4 into, so what is the value of a pi square? It is given 10. 4 into 10, and inductor value is 10 into 10 raised to minus 3. Then frequency is given 1 megahertz, that is 1 into 10 raised to 6 square. So we will get the final answer, that is 2.5 picofarad. Right? So 2.5 picofarad, that is option A is right. Resonant frequency of series LCR AC circuit is F0. Now the capacitance is made 4 times, then the new resonant frequency will become. See here, there are two cases. Initially the frequency is F0. When capacitance is made 4 times, if it is initially C, then after in the second case we can take 4C. Then the new resonant frequency will become. See here, in series LCR circuit, resonant frequency is denoted by F0. So we know that at resonance, XL equal to XC. XL means omega L equal to XC is 1 by omega C. Squaring here, we will get, or you can take cross multiply, omega L, that is omega into omega will be omega square equal to 1 by LC, or omega equal to, that is root of 1 divided by LC. So this equation we already studied in our regular classes, or if you want you can directly use omega means 2 pi EF. So here in the problem it is given F0. So we can write 2 pi F0 equal to, that is root of 1 by LC, or F0 equal to, so we have the equation 1 by 2 pi root of LC. So this equation directly we can use here, but remember we have to concentrate only on the capacitor. What is the relation between F0 and C here? F0 equal to 1 by root C. So this equation we can use it now to find the new resonant frequency. See here, When the capacitance of the circuit is made 4 times, let us take F0 equal to 1 by root C. Then in the second case, let us take it as F0 dash. It is made 4 times. So we can write it as 1 by root of 4C. This is first case. This is the second case. Let us solve these two cases to get the F0 dash, that is new resonant frequency. So therefore we can write dividing these two equations, equation 2 divided by equation 1, right? So we can get F0 dash divided by F0 equal to, F0 dash is 1 by root of 4C into, that is F0 is 1 by root C reciprocal, so root C divided by 1. So F0 dash divided by F0 equal to, so here root C will get cancelled, so we will get only 1 divided by, that is root 4. So F0 dash is equal to F0 divided by root 4. So that gives the value F0 divided by 2. Root 4 is 2. So the new resonant frequency is how much? F0 divided by 2. Right? That means the new resonant frequency is half of its initial resonant frequency. So F0 by 2, that is option D is correct. In RLC circuit, capacitance is changed from C to 2C. For the resonant frequency to remain unchanged, the inductance should change from L to. Here, the capacitance value changes from C to 2C. Then we have to calculate change in the inductance, that is L2. So we have the relation, that is F equal to, we know that 1 divided by 2 pi root of LC. We can use this equation here. When capacitor is doubled, we know that always inductor is half. So that resonant frequency remains unchanged, or you can use the relation. So here LC is constant, or we can write LC equal to constant. So let us take initially capacitor and inductor values are L and C. Then it changes to L dash C dash, right? So LC equal to L dash value we don't know capacities. C dash is how much? In place of C dash we can write 2C, right? So here C will get cancelled, so we can get L equal to 2 L dash. We want the new inductor value L dash equal to L divided by 2. So this is the inductance value which changes from L to L by 2. That is option C. An inductive coil has a resistance of 100 ohm. When an AC signal of frequency 1000 Hz is fed to the coil, the applied voltage leads to the current by 45 degrees. What is the inductance of the coil? See here, inductive coil has a resistance of 100 ohm. That is inductive reactance. Inductive reactance is denoted by XL. So we can write XL equal to 100 ohm. And frequency is given 1000 Hz is fed to the coil. The applied voltage leads current by 45 degree. So this is phasor difference between voltage and current. Let us write it as pi. So pi equal to 45 degree. So we have to calculate inductance of the coil. So voltage leads current by 45 degree. So here we can take, so I equal to I naught sine of omega t minus pi by 2. So we know this relation which is related to inductor. That means when it is connected to inductor, so we will get this equation. But here the angle is given 45 degree. See here, we know that XL is equal to omega L, or in place of omega we can write 2 pi FL. So what is XL here? XL equal to, you can write 2 pi capacities. So F is 1000 into L capacities, or we will get L equal to XL divided by 2 pi 1000, right? Then we can take it as L equal to, so XL is given 100 divided by 2 pi into 1000, that is 2000 pi. So, or we will get 1 by 20 pi. This is the value of L. So, 1 by 20 pi, that is equal to, so calculate 1 by 20 pi, we will get 0.0159 Henry. 0.0159, there is no option here, but it is equal to, that is 16 millihenry. 159 means it is equal to 16. So 16 millihenry, that is option C. In an LR circuit of frequency 50 Hz, L is 2 Henry and E value is 5 volt, R is given 1 ohm, then energy stored in the inductor is. So we have the direct equation for energy stored in an inductor, so that we studied in electromagnetic induction, that is U equal to half L I square. So this is energy stored in an inductor, so we can use this equation. So F is given, L and Vrms R, everything is given, so we have to calculate half L I square. So, but here we don't know the value of I square. So, first we have to calculate this one. So, we have the equation I RMS equal to Vrms divided by Z, because this is LR circuit. We have to use impedance, or we can write it as Vrms divided by the root of R square plus XL minus XC. But there is no capacitor here, so we should write simply XL square. Right, substitute the value of XL here, Vrms divided by root of R square plus, so in place of XL, we can write omega L, so omega is equal to 2 pi F, so I am going to write 2 pi F L square. Substitute the values, so I RMS equal to, so Vrms value is given, that is 5 divided by root of R square value, R value is given, that is 1. 1 square is 1 plus 2 pi F. F value is given 50 Hz and inductor value is 2 Henry. So 2 pi F L square. So by squaring all these values, we will get I RMS equal to, so we will get, that is 0.00795 ampere. This is I RMS value. But we want energy stored in the inductor, so therefore we can use U equal to half L I square. Substitute the values, U equal to 1 by 2, L value is 2 Henry and I square, that is 0.00795 square. So 2 will get cancelled, so we will get the answer 6.3 into 10 raised to minus 5 joules. So energy stored in the inductor is 6.3 into 10 raised to minus 5 joules. So you can observe all the options here. So A, B, C is not suitable. So we got 6.3 into 10 raised to minus 5. So the option is none of these. In an AC circuit, V and I are given by, so V equal to 100 sine 100 T volt, I equal to 100 sine 100 T plus pi by 3 milliampere. The power dissipated in the circuit is, see here, so voltage and current values are given, that is V equal to 100 sine 100 T, right? So this is equivalent to V equal to V naught sine omega T, right? Similarly, second equation, current I equal to 100 sine 100 T plus pi by 3. So which is equal to I equal to I naught sine omega T, right? So we have to calculate the power dissipated in the circuit. So power dissipation is generally given by the equation T equal to Vrms into Irms into cos pi. This is the general equation for power dissipation. But here we don't know Vrms and Irms value, because from these equations we got V naught value, that is 100 volt, I naught value is 100 ampere. So instead of Vrms, we know the relation Vrms equal to V naught divided by root 2. Substitute in the above equation, we will get, instead of Vrms, we can write V naught divided by root 2 into I naught divided by root 2 into cos pi. Or we can write it as P equal to, so 1 by root 2 into root 2, we will get 1 by 2 V naught I naught cos pi. Now substitute the values. P equal to 1 by 2. V naught value is 100 into, then I naught is also same, that is 100 ampere, cos pi. Phase difference is given in the above equation, that is pi by 3. So cos of pi by 3. Right. So calculating these values, we will get power dissipation P equal to 2.5 watt. So 2.5 watt is the power dissipation in the circuit. 2.5 watt, that is option C is right. An alternating voltage V equal to V naught sin omega t is applied across a circuit. As a result, a current I equal to I naught sin of omega t minus pi by 2 flows in it. The power consumed per cycle is, see here, so we have the equation for Vrms, or V equal to V naught sin omega t, and the current equation I equal to I naught sin of omega t minus pi by 2. Then we have to calculate power consumed per cycle, that is P value. See here, phase angle between voltage and current is given, that is pi by 2 is phase angle, right? So power factor means, that is denoted by cos pi. See here, the phase angle between voltage and current is pi by 2, that is given. Therefore, power factor is given by cos pi. So pi value is how much? Pi by 2. So cos of pi by 2, that is cos 90 is 0. So power factor is 0. So the equation P equal to, therefore power consumed per cycle, we have the equation Vrms Irms into cos pi. So P equal to, so Vrms Irms keep as it is, cos pi value we got, that is 0. So 0 into anything will be 0. That means power consumed per cycle is 0, or we can take it as wattless current, that is for inductor and capacitor. So power consumed per cycle is 0 here, that is option A. Two coils A and B are connected in series across a 240 volt 50 Hz supply. The resistance of A is 5 ohm, inductance of B is 0.02 Henry, the power consumed is 3 kilowatt and the power factor is 0.75. The impedance of the circuit is, see here, so the value of Vrms is given, that is 240 volt, frequency is given 50 Hz, resistance is 5 ohm, inductor value is 0.02 Henry, then power factor is, power consumed is 3 kilowatt, power factor is denoted by cos pi, it is given 0.75. So we have to calculate impedance Z. So we have the equation for impedance. We know that Irms equal to Vrms divided by Z. So this equation we can use here. But here we don't know the value of Irms. We know only about Vrms. So first we have to calculate Irms. So we can use the equation of power consumed because power consumed is given, power factor is given. So therefore, we have the relation for P equal to Vrms into Irms into cos pi. So easily we can calculate P value. That is Irms equal to P divided by Vrms into cos pi. So Irms we have to calculate, keep as it is. Power consumed is given 3000 divided by Vrms is given 240 into 0.75. So we will get Irms equal to, so we can get the value, keep as it is. This is Irms value. So we want Z value. So we can take, see here, Irms equal to Vrms into Z. Therefore Z equal to, we can write it as Vrms divided by Irms. So Z equal to, that is Vrms is 240 divided by Irms value, that is 3000 divided by 240 into 0.75. So we can calculate all these value, we will get, that is 14.4 ohm. Here again it is not necessary to calculate here. So directly we can substitute here. So final calculation. So we can get the result 14.4 ohm. That is option C is right. A charged 30 microfarad capacitor is connected to a 27 millihenry inductor. The angular frequency of free oscillations of the circuit is, see here, a charged capacitor value is given, that is C equal to 30 microfarad is connected to an inductor having value 27 millihenry. So angular frequency of free oscillation, that is omega, we have to calculate. So directly we have the equation, omega equal to 1 divided by root of LC. Omega equal to 1 divided by root of L value is 27 into 10 raised to minus 3 and capacitor value 30 into 10 raised to minus 6. So we will get omega equal to 1.1 into 10 raised to 3 radian per second. So this is the angular frequency of free oscillations of the circuit. That option A is right. The primary winding of transformers has 500 turns, whereas its secondary has 5000 turns. The primary is connected to an AC supply of 20 volt 50 Hz frequency. The secondary will have an output of. So this question is related to transformer. We know that transformer is having two coils, primary coil and secondary coil. So primary coil is taken as input and secondary coil is taken as output. See here, so the primary winding of the transformer is given 500 turns, that is number of turns in primary coil. Let us write it as NP. Number of turns in primary is 500 turns. Number of turns in secondary is 5000 turns. The primary is connected to an AC supply, that is 20 volt and 50 Hz. That we can take it as voltage across primary is given 20 volt and frequency is 50 Hz. Now we have to calculate the secondary will have an output of, that is voltage across secondary we have to calculate, right? We have the relation between number of turns and the voltage across primary and secondary coil. So that we studied in our regular classes. The equation is voltage across secondary and voltage across primary is equal to the ratio of number of turns across secondary with respect to number of turns in primary. So we can use this relation to calculate voltage across secondary. So we can write this equation as Vs equal to Vp Ns divided by Np. So Vs equal to, substitute the value, Vp is 20, number of turns in secondary is 5000 divided by number of turns in primary is 500. So by calculating this value, we will get voltage across secondary coil is 200 volt. Right. So there are two options here. Option B, and option D 200 volt. Remember, frequency is same in both the coil, primary as well as secondary. So option D is right, which is having voltage across secondary is 200 volt and frequency is 50 hertz. A step-up transformer operates on a 230 volt line and supplies a current of 2 ampere. The ratio of primary and secondary winding is 1:25. The current in the primary is. So we have to calculate current in the primary. We can use, first we can concentrate on the givens. This is a step-up transformer. Step-up transformer means the secondary coil is having more number of turns than primary, so that we will get high voltage in secondary. Output will be high voltage. That means low potential difference or low voltage is converted into high voltage in a step-up transformer. See here, a step-up transformer operates on a 230 volt line and 2 ampere, that is current. The ratio of primary and secondary is given. The ratio of primary and secondary winding, that is, we can write NP divided by NS. Number of turns in primary with respect to secondary, it is given, that is 1:25, that is 1/25. Then the current in the primary is, see here we have the equation NP by NS equal to, we know that is Vp divided by Vs. That means Vp by Vs is given 1/25. Therefore, we can write it as voltage across secondary is equal to, that is 25 into voltage across primary. Now we have to calculate current across primary, that is IP value. So in the step-up transformer, a current of 2 ampere is given. It supplies a current of 2 ampere, that is current across secondary is given 2 ampere. So we have the equation, that is eta equal to VSIS divided by VP IP. For ideal transformer, we will get eta equal to 1. So therefore, we will get VP IP equal to VSIS, or IP equal to VSIS divided by VP. Substitute the values. IP equal to, so Vs is 25, Is is 2 ampere, then voltage across primary is, that is voltage across primary is 1, here it is 1/25 Vp by Vs. So we will get, that is 25 into 2 is 50 ampere. So current across the primary is 50 ampere, that is option B. A 220 volt input is supplied to a transformer. The output circuit draws a current of 2 ampere at 440 volt. The efficiency of the transformer is given 80%. The current drawn by the primary winding of the transformer is. See here, efficiency of the transformer is given. Voltage, input voltage is also given. So we have to calculate current across primary. So see here, voltage across primary, it is 220 volt. This is input. And voltage across secondary, that is output, is also given 440 volt. And efficiency is 80%. So 80% means 80 divided by 100, that gives 0.8. This is efficiency eta value. And current across secondary is given, that is 2 ampere. So we want current across primary. Again we can use the same equation, that is efficiency eta equal to VSIS divided by VPIP. We can use this equation, substitute the values. Eta is 0.8, VSIS, that is 440 into 2 divided by VPIP. VP is 220 IP capacities. So therefore we will get IP equal to 440 into 2 divided by 220 into 0.8. So current across primary coil, by calculating this value, we will get 5 ampere. So 5 ampere, that is option D is right. In a transformers, number of turns in primary coil are 140 and that in secondary coil are 280. If current in primary coil is 4 ampere, then that in secondary coil is. See here, number of turns in primary and secondary is given, that is number of turns in primary NP is given, that is 140. Number of turns in secondary is 280 and the current in the primary is given. Current across primary IP is given 4 ampere. So then that in secondary we have to calculate, that is IS. Right. So here we can use the equation IP divided by IS equal to NS divided by NP. Directly we can use this relation. So this equation can be written as IS equal to IP into NP divided by NS. We can modify this equation because we want IS. So IS equal to IP is 4, NP by NS value is given, that is 140 divided by 280. So we will get IS equal to 2 ampere. So before that you should know this relation. This relation is very important. Or you can use the relation Vp by Vs equal to Is divided by Ip. But here we know that Vs by Vp equal to Ns by Np. So in place of Vs by Vp, we can use this relation. So Vp by Vs means we can write it as Np by Ns equal to Is divided by Ip. Right? So we can use this relation so that we will get the answer 2 ampere, that is option B. The primary winding of a transformer has 100 turns and its secondary winding has 200 turns. The primary is connected to an AC supply of 120 volt and the current flowing in it is 10 ampere. The voltage and the current in the secondary are. So again it is related to transformer. See here, number of turns in primary, number of turns in secondary. Similarly, voltage across primary, voltage across secondary, we don't know, leave it. Current across primary is given. So we have to calculate voltage across secondary and current across secondary. Remaining is given here. So number of turns in primary is 100, in secondary is 200. Voltage across primary is 120 volt and across primary, current across primary is 10 ampere. So these are the givens. Again we can use the same equation, that is Vs divided by Vp equal to Ns divided by Np. So Vs equal to, we can write it as Vp into remaining is Ns divided by Np. Substitute the values. Vs equal to, Vp is 120 volt and number of turns in secondary with respect to primary, that is 200 divided by 100. So we will get 240 volt. This is voltage across secondary. Similarly, we want current across secondary. So therefore, we have the equation Ip divided by Is equal to Ns divided by Np. So we want current across secondary, Is equal to Ip into Np divided by Ns. Now substitute the values. Is equal to, Ip is 10 ampere and Np by Ns, that is 100 divided by 200. So we will get current across secondary is 5 ampere. So current across secondary is 5 ampere. Voltage across secondary is 240 volt. 240 volt, 5 ampere. That is option A is right answer. A step-down transformer is connected to 2400 volt line and 80 amperes of current is found to flow in the output load. The ratio of the turns in primary and secondary coil is 20:1. If transformer efficiency is 100%, then the current flowing in the primary coil will be. This is a step-down transformer, means high voltage is converted into low voltage. So we will get output in the secondary coil in the transformer, right? So we can use, first we can take the givens here from the problem. Voltage across secondary, step down is connected, means it is output, it is given 2400 volt and it is having the current 80 ampere. Then the ratio of primary to secondary, it is given NP by NS is given, that is 20:1, that is 20 divided by 1. Transformer efficiency is 100%, that is equal to 1. It is ideal transformer. So we have to calculate current in the primary coil, that is IP value. So again we can use the efficiency equation, eta equal to VSIS divided by VPIP. This equation we can use here. So eta is equal to 1. Therefore, we will get VSIS equal to VPIP. Or we have the relation between number of turns and current, right? So number of turns means we can use the equation IS divided by IP equal to NP divided by NS. So this equation we can use to calculate the value of current across primary, right? See here, IS divided by IP. IS is given 80 ampere. IP value we don't know, we have to calculate, keep as it is. NP divided by NS is 20 divided by 1. So current across primary we will get, that is 80 by 20 will be 4 ampere. Current across primary is 4 ampere, that is option C. A step-down transformer reduces 220 volt to 110 volt. The primary draws 5 ampere of current and secondary supplies 9 ampere. The efficiency of transformer is. See here, the step-down transformer reduces 220 volt to 110 volt. See here, this is input and this is output because it is a step-down transformer. So here, high voltage is converted into low voltage. So we can take voltage across primary as 220, high voltage. This is input. So output is across secondary coil, that is Vs equal to 110 volt. Then current is given, that is IP is 5 ampere and across secondary is 9 ampere. The efficiency of the transformer we have to calculate, that is eta. So we have the equation eta equal to what? VSIS divided by VPIP. So substitute the values, we will get the eta value, that is 110 into 9 divided by 220 into 5. So eta equal to, we will get 0.9. So in terms of percentage we should write. So we can write 0.9 into 100%. For 100%, so 0.9 means that is 90. So 90% of efficiency we will get, that is option C is right. A transformer is used to light a 140 watt 24 volt bulb from a 240 volt AC mains. The current in the main cable is 0.7 ampere. The efficiency of the transformer is, see here, 140 watt is output. So this much amount of power we will get in the light. So a transformer is used to light a 140 watt. This is output power. And 24 volt bulb. That bulb gives light of watt 140, which is having voltage 24. That means This 140 watt and 24 volt, this is output. This is what? Output. From the source, from AC main 240 volt, this is input. Right? So from this 240 volt main supply, we are utilizing only 24 volt to light a bulb of power 140 watt. The current in the main cable is 0.7 ampere. Efficiency of the transformer we have to calculate. See here, output power, let us write it as PO is given 140 watt. Then V out means output voltage, we can write it as 24 volt. Input voltage is 240 volt from the AC main, and current in the cable I is 0.7 ampere. So we want efficiency. So we know the equation, that is P equal to VI. Right? So let us take it as input. For input it is. So we can write P equal to, for input, so V into I, that is input is 240 volt into, we will get current supply 0.7. So power, input power we will get, that is 160 watt, 166 watt. Now we want efficiency. So we have the equation efficiency, that is output power with respect to input power. Substitute the values. Output power is already given, that is 140. Input power we got 166. So we will get the answer, that is 83.3%. Right? 83.3% means option B is right. A transformer has an efficiency of 80%. It works at 4 kilowatt and 100 volt. If secondary voltage is 240 volt, the current in the primary coil is, efficiency is given 80%. Then it works at 4 kilowatt and 100 volt. So 4 kilowatt and 100 volt, this is input. So we can write power input is given, that is 4 kilowatt is equal to 4000 watt. Then we can write voltage, that is 100 volt, this is input voltage. So input voltage is given to primary coil in the transformer. So we can write it as VP. So VP is given 100 volt. Then we will get the output in the secondary coil, that is Vs equal to 240 volt. Then IP, current across primary coil, we have to calculate. So we have the equation, that is eta equal to output power with respect to input power. Output power divided by input power, or we can write it as Vs Is divided by Vp Ip. So here Vp Ip value is already given, because we know that power output is given by the equation V into I. So it is already given here. So that is equal to, so we know that Vp Ip value is equal to 4000 watt, because voltage across primary and current across primary. Primary means it is input power. So we know that here P equal to V into I. For input means we should take primary coil. So we can write Vp Ip is equal to 4000 watt. So this is what? Input power. Input power is 4000 watt. Then current across primary coil we have to calculate. So current across primary coil, that is given by the equation Ip equal to, we can write the output power is how much? 4000 divided by Vp. So Ip equal to, we will get 4000 divided by, so Vp value it is already given, that is 100. So we will get Ip equal to 40 ampere. So current across primary coil is 40 ampere, that is option D. The primary of a transformer has 400 turns, while the secondary has 2000 turns. If the power output from the secondary at 1000 volt is 12 kilowatt. What is the primary voltage? Again, this question is based on efficiency of the transformer, right? See here, in this question, I am going to use the relation between voltage and number of turns across primary and secondary. Number of turns in primary is given 400 turns and that of in secondary is 2000 turns. Then power output from the secondary coil it is given 1000 watt. Output power from the secondary coil is 12 kilowatt and it is having voltage 1000 volt, that is voltage across the secondary is 1000 volt. So we have to calculate voltage across primary, that is Vp. So directly we can use the relation between number of turns and voltage. So we know the equation Vp divided by Vs equal to Np divided by Ns. So we want voltage across primary, therefore Vp equal to, so we can write it as Vs Np divided by Ns. Substitute the values. So here Ns value is given 2000. So we can write this equation as Vp equal to Vs Np divided by Ns. So Vs value is 1000 and Np is 400 turns divided by Ns value is 2000 turns. So we will get voltage across primary, that by calculating this value we will get 200 volt. So 200 volt, that is option A is right. A transformer is connected to 220 volt mains is used to light a lamp of rating 100 watt and 110 volt. If the primary current is 0.5 ampere, the efficiency of the transformer is approximately. See here, voltage across primary is given. So we can write it as Vp is given, that is 220 volt. And it is used to light a lamp of rating 100 watt and 110 volt. So these are output here. The output power is given. Let us take it as PO 100 watt and 110 volt is output voltage. Output voltage we will get at secondary coil. So let us write it as Vs is 110 volt. And the current in the primary is given IP equal to 0.5 ampere. Then we have to calculate efficiency. So power in primary transformer, we can write it as, see here, power in primary transformer. Primary transformer means this is input power. So we can write it as P input power is equal to, so we can take it as Vp into Ip or Ip into Vp, Vp Ip. So Vp Ip values are given 220 into 0.5. So we will get 110 volt. This is input power, right? Similarly, we will get power in secondary transformer. So power in secondary transformer, because output voltage we will get in secondary coil, so we can write output power equal to Vs into Is. So already output power is given, that is 100 watt. Directly it is given. So we will get output power 110 watt. Now efficiency is given by the equation output power divided by input power. So eta equal to output power is 100 and input power we have 110 volt, 110 watt. So eta equal to, we will get 0.9. In terms of percentage, we can write it as 90%. So efficiency of transformer is approximately equal to 90%. A transformer having efficiency of 90% is working on 200 volt and 3 kilowatt power supply. If current in the secondary coil is 6 ampere, the voltage across the secondary coil and the primary current in the primary coil respectively are. So we have to calculate voltage across secondary, that is denoted by Vs, and also we have to calculate current in the primary coil, that is denoted by Ip. So we have to calculate Vs and Ip. So eta is given 90%. Then voltage across primary is given 200 volt. Then input power is given 3 kilowatt. Similarly, current across secondary is given 6 ampere. So we want Vs and Ip. So first I am using the efficiency equation. Efficiency of a transformer is given by eta equal to Vs Is divided by Vp Ip. So in efficiency is given 90% is equal to 0.9. Vs capacities, current across secondary is 6 ampere divided by Vp Ip is equal to input power, right? So we can write 0.9 equal to, so 6 into Vs divided by input power is directly given 3 kilowatt, that is 3000. So we will get Vs equal to 450 ohm. This is voltage across secondary. Now we have to calculate current across primary. So therefore I am using the relation Vp Ip equal to Vs Is. We can use this equation here. So we want Ip value. Ip equal to Vs Is divided by Vp. So Vs Is value substitute here. 450 into 6 divided by 200. So we will get 27 by 2. So 27 by 2 is equal to 13.5 ampere. So current across primary is 13.5 ampere. So 450 volt 13.5 ampere, that is option C is right. In series LCR circuit, the voltage across R, L and C are VR, VL and VC respectively. Then the voltage applied AC source must be. See here, this is LCR, series LCR circuit. So series LCR circuit means we are having impedance. Impedance is denoted by Z. So we can write the equation as Z equal to root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. So this is the equation for impedance. But here we have to know the voltage applied across AC source. So voltage means we can write Vrms or V equal to, so voltage across resistor we can write it as VR square. Voltage across inductor is written as VL minus voltage across capacitor can be written as VC. VL, VR, VC are the voltage across LCR circuit. VL minus VC whole square. So voltage across this series LCR circuit is given by root of VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. So here the suitable equation is option B, that is root of VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. A resistor R draws power P when connected to an AC source. If an inductance is now placed in series with the resistance such that the impedance of the circuit becomes Z, the power drawn will be. See here, a resistor R draws power P when it is connected to an AC source. If the inductance is now placed in series, there are two cases. In the first case, it is connected to resistor R. Let us take this is resistance R, which is connected to an AC source and it draws the power P. This is resistance R. So power across resistor, we have the relation power across resistor circuit is P equal to I square R. We can use this equation. This is power across resistor. But we know that I equal to V divided by R. This is according to Ohm's law. So we can write the above equation as P equal to, so V divided by R whole square into R. Right? Let us take it as case 1, equation number 1. Now that is in the second case. Second case is if an inductance is now placed in series with the resistance. So this is resistor, so that we are connected to an inductor. Then this series RL circuit is connected to an AC source. Now what is the value of power? We have to calculate. So when it is connected only to resistor, the opposition is only offered by resistance. But when it is connected to both resistor and inductor, opposition is offered by both inductor and resistor. So we can take here impedance, which is denoted by Z. Now power across RL circuit. Power across RL circuit, we can write it as P dash equal to. So here it is V by R whole square into R. But here instead of R, we should write Z. V by Z whole square into R. Let us take it as equation number 2. Here only the opposition is offered by resistor, but here it is offered by impedance. So now by calculating these two equations, we will get the power drawn in the second case. So let us divide equation 1 and 2. So equation 2 divided by equation 1. That is P dash divided by P equal to. So P dash is, that is V square divided by Z square into R whole divided by P value is V square divided by R square into R. Here V square will get cancelled, R will get cancelled. So we will get simply R square divided by Z square. So P dash divided by P equal to R square divided by Z square. So P dash equal to, we can write P into R divided by Z whole square. So R by Z whole square into P. That is power drawn in the second case. That is in the RL circuit. That is option D is right. The current in the resistor R at resonance. We know that at resonance or at resonant frequency, current is maximum because inductive reactance and capacitive reactance are equal. So you can observe the circuit diagram. Here AC source is connected to R, L and C, that is resistor, inductor and capacitor. So here in this question they asked what is the current in the resistance R at resonance. Remember, at resonance XL and XC both are equal. Therefore impedance becomes Z equal to R. Current is maximum, but also it is finite, because you can observe the equation I equal to V divided by R. This is only across resistor. So I want maximum current I naught equal to V naught divided by R. So this is finite, this is maximum, because see here, when current is maximum, impedance is minimum. Impedance is minimum only because at resonant frequency XL and XC are equal. So current is maximum and finite. That option C is right. In the given circuit, the reading of voltmeter V1 and V2 are 300 volt each. The reading of the voltmeter V3 and ammeter A respectively. So we have to find the value of V3 and the reading at ammeter A. See here, V1 and V2 values are given, that is 300 volt each. V1 is 300 volt. Similarly, V2 is also 300 volt. So we want a V3 value and also current across ammeter, that is ampere value. From the diagram, we have the value of resistance, that is 100 ohm. Voltage across this LCR circuit is Vrms equal to 220 volt. Frequency is 50 Hz. So you can observe V1 and V2 both are same. That indicates this is at resonant frequency. XL and XC are equal. When XL and XC are equal, so what we can get here, at resonance XL is equal to XC. Therefore, voltage across inductor is equal to voltage across capacitor. So here I wrote V1 and V2. So V1 is equal to 300. So V2 is also equal to 300 volt. That means VL and VC are same here. That is 300 volt. So therefore, that we know the equation IRMS equal to Vrms divided by R. Because here VL and VC are same at resonant frequency, they cancel each other. We will get only the resistor value. So IRMS equal to 220 divided by resistor is 100. So we will get 2.2 ampere. This is IRMS value. So reading of V3. So what is the value of reading of V3? See here. So V1 and V2 are same. They cancel each other. So we will get 220 volt for V3. And current across the ammeter is 2.2 ampere. So current across ammeter is 2.2 ampere and voltage across resistor is 220 volt. Because these two are same, they cancel each other. So we will get only resistor. So the answer is 220 volt and 2.2 ampere. That is option B is right. For the circuit shown in the figure, the current through the inductor is 0.9 ampere while the current through the condenser is 0.4 ampere. Then, see here, current across inductor, let us take it as IL, 0.9 ampere. Current across capacitor is given 0.4 ampere. The current drawn by the inductor and the capacitor both are in the opposite phase. We know that for inductor and capacitor, phasor difference is 90 degree, but both are in the opposite direction. They are in the opposite phase. The current drawn by inductor and capacitor will be in opposite phase. They are in the opposite phase so that the net current, hence net current drawn from LC circuit is, net current, let us take it as I equal to, so here IL and IC, they are in the opposite phase, so we can write it as IL minus IC because both are in the opposite phase. IL minus IC 0.9 minus 0.4 ampere. So we will get 0.5 ampere is the net current drawn from LC circuit. Only the reason is L and C both are in the opposite phase. One is plus 90, another one is minus 90. So the answer is 0.5 ampere. That is option C. Which of the following graphs represent the correct variation of capacitive reactance XC with frequency mu? Capacitive reactance, it is given by the equation XC equal to 1 by omega C or 1 divided by 2 pi FC. What is the relation between frequency and capacitive reactance from this equation? That is, XC is inversely proportional to frequency. You can apply this equation to this graph to find the relation between that capacitive reactance and frequency. So what is the relation between them? Capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to frequency. That means as frequency increases, XC decreases. Frequency increases so that XC decreases. Now observe the graphs here. In the first graph, it is increasing, then at certain point it starts to decrease. It is not correct. In the second graph, it is spontaneously increasing. No, it is also wrong. Come to the third graph, it is decreasing. Yes, as XC increases, frequency decreases, or as frequency go on increases, then XC go on decreases, because both are inversely proportional, so that option C is the correct graph. In the given circuit, the current drawn from the source is we have to calculate the net current drawn from the source. See here, you can observe this circuit diagram. It is resistor, inductor and capacitor. It is connected to LCR circuit. So let us find here voltage across AC source is given, that is V equal to 100 sine of 100 pi t. So from this we will get V naught value. V equal to V naught sine omega t. So V naught is 100, omega is 100 pi. And from the circuit diagram, we have the value of R, that is XL and XC. R, XL, XC values are given from the diagram. So we want IRMS value, that is current drawn from the source is. Individually, I am going to calculate the current across each circuit element, that is resistor, inductor and capacitor. In the first case, current across resistor. Here only we know the peak value. Remember, we can write it as current across resistor. Let us write it as IR. But here we don't know the V value. We know only the peak value of voltage. So let us write it as peak value of current IR naught is equal to V naught divided by R. So V naught value is 100 volt divided by resistance value is given 20. So we got 5 ampere. Similarly, second case, that is current across inductor. Current across inductor, that is we can write IL naught equal to V naught divided by impedance is Z. So in place of Z, I am going to write XL. It is connected to inductor. So we will get 100 divided by 10, that is 10 ampere. Similarly, the third case, current across capacitor. Current across capacitor, that is IC naught, that is maximum current across capacitor. V naught divided by XC equal to 100 divided by XC is 20. So we got 5 ampere. This is maximum current across each circuit element. Right? Now we have the phasor diagram for LCR circuit. We know that. So this is voltage for resistor. Both are in phase with each other. This is IR naught. So it is 5 ampere we got. Then inductor and capacitor, that is leading and lagging behind with phasor angle 90 degree. So this is 90 degree. Let us take this is capacitor, current across capacitor. This is maximum current we got 5 ampere. For inductor, maximum current we got 10 ampere. Right? So we know that IC and IL both are in the same line, but they are in the opposite phase. So to find the net current, so we have to take IC naught and IL naught values. So we can take on the same line. So inductor current is maximum. So 10 minus 5 will be 5. See here, we will get, this is IR naught value. Right? Here I am going to take both IL naught minus IC naught. That is 10 minus 5 will be 5 ampere. Now easily we can calculate net current, that is IRMS. So how to find the net current or the resultant current? So IRMS equal to, or we can write I naught equal to net current. So we can use C equal to root of A square plus B square equation. That is here 5 square plus 5 square, because here it is 5 ampere. IL minus IC is also 5 ampere. So we will get the net value is 5 root 2. So 5 square plus 5 square under root, we will get the current is 5 root 2 ampere. So this is the current drawn from the source. So 5 root 2, that is option D is right. In an AC circuit with phase voltage V and current I, the power dissipated is. So we have the equation P equal to V I cos pi. Power dissipation always depending on V and I values, right? So P equal to Vi cos pi. So pi value is 0 for resistor. Pi value is 90 degree for both capacitor and inductor. So it goes on changes according to the circuit elements, but it is depending on V and I. P equal to Vi cos theta. Power dissipation depends on Vi cos theta, that is option D. The sinusoidal AC current flows through a resistor of resistance R. If peak current is IP, then power dissipated is. So we know the value of RMS current. We know that IRMS equal to I naught divided by root 2. So this equation we studied. So power dissipation is given by power dissipation, that is P equal to I square R. So P equal to, in place of I square R, we can write it as IRMS square R. This is effective value of current. So P equal to, we know that IRMS is I naught by root 2 square into R, or P equal to I naught square. So root 2 square will be 2 into R, or we can write it as half I naught square R. But here in the given problem, so the peak value of current is denoted by IP square R. So 1 by 2 IP square R, that option B is right. The power factor of an AC circuit having resistor R, inductor CL, connected in series and an angular velocity omega is. See here, we have the equation, that is angular velocity omega is given by the equation. We know that power factor cos pi equal to R divided by Z. We know this relation, cos pi equal to R divided by Z. The loss of energy in the form of heat in the iron core of a transformer is. So iron core of a transformer, it releases large amount of heat energy. It is due to, see here, when a magnetic flux linked with the coil changes, induced EMF takes place, eddy current is produced in the core. So that eddy current releases large amount of heat energy, right? Iron loss is the energy loss in the form of heat due to the formation of eddy currents in the iron core. whatever the energy loss takes place in the iron core, it is all because of eddy current, because eddy current releases large amount of heat energy. See here, when magnetic flux linked with the coil changes, then induced EMF takes place, so that eddy current is produced. This eddy current releases large amount of heat energy. It releases large amount of heat energy. So here, this is because of iron loss. That is option A, because the core is made of iron. Transformers are used. The first option in a DC circuit, second one in AC circuit, third one both DC and AC, and fourth one neither in a DC nor in AC circuit. Transformers are used only for AC circuit. Remember, it works on the principle of mutual induction, right? It is basically, these transformers are designed for AC, that is alternating current, whose magnitude and directions are periodically changing. So in the direct current, the magnitude and direction is constant, right? So directly we can get its magnitude value. But in AC, it is very difficult to get the accurate value of the current. So we can choose IRMS. So transformers are mainly used for AC circuits. That option B is right.